This is your place for all things Grand Rapids Griffins and all things Toledo Walleye. This is the Hockeytown West Podcast with your host, Brandon Cook and Nick Harrington.
Hello, everyone. Quick editor's note before we get started with this episode. After recording, the AHL had decided to announce that the first Griffins goal in this game we are about to recap for you was actually Marco Kasper's goal, not Jonathan Berggren, robbing him of the hat trick. But that's okay. The Berggren hat trick will just have to wait for Game 5 on Sunday. Just wanted to make sure we cleared that up before we went in. We were not going to re-record an entire episode just for that edit. So we'll talk a lot about a Bergie hat trick and everything in this. So just so you guys know, it's not. Marco Kasper got the goal. Either way, Griffins win. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to the Hockeytown West Podcast, your source for everything Grand Rapids Griffins and Toledo Walleye hockey. I am one of your hosts, Brandon.
And I'm Nick.
And holy crap, what did we just witness last night? I've never been this hyped to record, even though we're still doing it like later than we usually do. Like normally we do this right after the game, but good friends and good company in town had to go out and celebrate that win right after the game, and we were not recording at the time we left the bar. So
the time that you left the bar, sir.
Yeah. So no, it's a good time had by all. How do you not celebrate that Griffins comeback win, right? Like you got to do that.
The game was crazy, which we'll get into in a minute, but it's just like, and then having Elaine, having Rinaldi, having Brian Fisher from Locked On Red Wings there as well. Like, it was just a good vibe, good energy. And you brought Josh with you too. So that was good. I haven't seen him in years. So it just like, I had a really bad day yesterday. I was in a dark place. And then like I got to the game and I kind of got settled in. And then the game, like the third period started and boom, like it just felt way better. And it helped seeing, the guys. Oh, and Tyler.
You always forget Tyler. You're such a jerk.
We saw Tyler
on the show again.
Okay, but in my defense, Tyler didn't go out with us afterwards, but I did see Tyler at intermission. So, but it was good. Like they brought me back up, and the win. I mean, holy hell, we can say that.
So yeah, right. Oh God, yeah. So let's dive into this recap here of Game 4. So as everybody knows by now, Grand Rapids Griffins win this one 4-2, keep the season alive in only fashion that I know the Grand Rapids Griffins could possibly do this season with how many comebacks that we've witnessed. This game, and we say comeback, this game wasn't badly played by Grand Rapids in the first couple of periods.
Not at all. But
it did require a comeback. So quick rundown of everything here. Like we said, Griffins win 4-2 in the first period. Milwaukee started off the scoring 14 minutes in. Afanasyev gets his 5th of the playoffs and 4th in the week. He had 3 goals on Wednesday against Grand Rapids, and then this goal as well.
4 in a row.
Yeah, 4 goals in a row for him. No other scoring in that first period. The Griffins did outshoot Milwaukee 13-7 in that period. Second period comes around. Milwaukee gets another goal at the 8-minute, 38-second mark. Kimmel gets his first of the playoffs. Afanasyev and Livingstone assisting on that one. So Afanasyev again factoring in the Milwaukee scoring there. Milwaukee outshoots Grand Rapids 16-6 in this period. This was a period where it was just we couldn't get a bounce to go our way, and we spent way too much time in the penalty box, but we'll get there. Third period comes around. We're down 2-0. And I sit down after meeting with you guys in the concourse, look at my buddy next to me and goes, "This be a really good time for Jonathan Berggren to wake up." Well, 8 minutes into this third period, Jonathan Berggren gets his 4th of the playoffs, assisted by Carter Mazur and Austin Zarnik.
On the
power play goal. Power play goal. Oh my God. It was a double minor penalty as well. So the Griffins remained on the power play after this one. And at the 9-minute, 33-second mark, so about a minute and 30 seconds later, Joel Esperance gets his 2nd of the playoffs, assisted by Matt Luff and Elmer Soderblom on the power play. Oh my gosh. It's a miracle. Well, we weren't done there. At the 10-minute, 6-second mark, literally about 36 seconds later, Jonathan Berggren gets his 5th of the playoffs, his 2nd of the night, assisted by Carter Mazur and Antti Tuomisto. And you know what? Bergie said, "I'm not done yet." And a minute and 30 seconds later, Jonathan Berggren gets the hat trick, his 6th of the playoffs. Marco Kasper and Radim Šimić getting the assist on that one. And that's all the Griffins needed. as they walk away with this 4-2 victory. Sebastian Cossa was absolutely sensational. We'll talk more about him in a second, but he stopped 31 of 33 in this one. At the other end, Askarov stopped 26 of 30. He did get pulled from the game because he got injured mid-game, which we'll talk about. Grosnick did come in. He faced one shot. He only had 1 minute, 40 seconds of playing time before they pulled him and tried to get the goal there. They left the net empty for a while there. But yeah, man, that's all she wrote. Griffins do get outshot in this one, 33-31. Again, I think the amount of time they spent on the penalty kill attributed to that. Griffins go 2 for 6 on the power play. Milwaukee goes 0 for 5. The penalty kill was absolutely sensational. And that's where I want to start when we talk about this recap here. This game felt like it was weird, right? The Griffins were playing extremely well. They were a little undisciplined, but the officiating was also just really one-sided in this game. It wasn't pretty, but at the same time, the ref had to start calling things because it was getting out of control on both sides, right? The penalty kill had a moment where they faced a 5-on-3 for about 1 minute and 30 seconds, and they killed that off. It was huge. And then literally just a few minutes later, a full 2-minute 5-on-3 they end up having to face here. And they killed it off. And that right there was the turning point for this entire game. And during that penalty kill, not only were the penalty killers sensational, but Dom Shine and Wyatt Newpower were the two that stood out to me the most. The craziest part was during the first 5-on-3, the first penalty that they had taken, or the Griffins had taken, Wyatt was out there for that 30 seconds of that first penalty and then a second penalty. And he was out there still for the entirety of the next penalty that was called too. So about a 2 minute and 30 second shift for Wyatt Newpower there on the penalty kill. And he was just eating pucks. It was incredible.
It's crazy to see because Wyatt has he got placed into the game in the lineup last game. And so he hadn't played for a few weeks, almost a month and a half. I'm going to have to go back and track this. If he plays again tomorrow, I'm going to have to go back and track to see when his last game was before this series. But it was good because you bring him in, you sit Josiah, and you bring in another veteran leader. Wyatt Newpower comes in, clears pucks, blocks pucks, does everything that Didier does, and just does it at another level, I guess. I don't know. I'm it's just weird to see this is our rotation now. It's that you're taking a veteran out, you're putting a new guy in. There's no stop. If anything, it elevated, and maybe it was just that time that Wyatt had off and kind of rejuvenated him into the game and had some extra energy. I don't know. I mean, we saw that with another player we'll talk about later.
Yeah, I mean, Wyatt's always been kind of like that guy that can go out there and be an energy driver, but at the same time, when the lineups were originally put out for the playoffs, it made sense with the defenseman that they went with. But seeing him rotate back in here, it's really changed a lot of things in the back end, and I'm really happy with it. And he better be in the lineup for Game 5. He freaking better.
Yeah,
there's no reason he don't change a darn thing. But again, too, on that, Dom Shine just continuing to just lead that penalty kill. He's the true leader of that PK, and it's incredible what he's out there doing. You can see him pointing, giving directions during any time he's out there. He's also eating pucks. He's extremely aggressive at trying to push guys off the puck, great at disrupting the passing lanes. And just those two right there, without them on the PK, I don't know what it would look like. But of course, when you have a PK, that's good. You got to have your goalie be your best penalty killer. And oh my God, was Sebastian Cossa sensational in this game.
The Cossa chants were loud and crazy all game. I think he fit second star for the game last night.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was the game. You said that he looked pissed when he came back to Grand Rapids the other night, and you could just tell this was his game. He was flashy. I didn't really see him do a whole lot of antics after the play or after the puck. Okay, maybe I did. Well, I didn't. Maybe you did because you were closer. You were right on the ice, so I don't know. I'm just trying to think. I think you were still chirping people, but I think
you missed a bunch of action then if you missed any antics after the whistle because there was a lot.
I was kind of handling the crowd over here in my section, so I don't know if that'll come to light. But I mean, I think this was his game that he was just like a big fuck you game, you know? Like he was coming out, he was making the saves, he was playing well. I mean, he had 33 shots against and gave up the 2. Like that's an excellent stat line there. I mean, obviously you want to let him less, but I still overall I think that was a fantastic game from Coast, and I think that's where I want to see him moving forward. 33 shots, 1 or 2 goals against, like that's fantastic. And I think he was seeing the puck a lot better last night too. But I want to touch one thing is I love this 11-7 lineup that they're going with. And they're using the big thing on this one is Simon came back and he's been out the last 2 games. And that was a huge, huge thing here is I felt like they were really targeting Simon throughout the game. And to be able to rotate him in and out for the matchups and put Wyatt in, I mean, that just gave us more flexibility and him more time to kind of recover or kind of gain his footing after being off for 2 games. And if he's still nursing an injury or not. But like, I felt like that really helped Simon because I thought at the second period, he was really trying to take over the game and try to get us like put us on the back and get us back into this game in that second.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back to Coast real quick because I want to talk about the lineup and everything like that. You jumped ahead of me a little bit. That's okay.
I'm so excited.
Well, yeah, exactly. With Coast, though, like you said, you didn't see much of the antics. There were tons of antics. He was in people's face all night, and it was a lot of, like you said, it was the fuck you side of things. He really wanted to go out there and prove people wrong. He did not appreciate getting poked at, and there was one scrum that happened in the north end of the arena by the Zamboni tunnel there, and he ends up with a guy down in front of him, and he sees Albert Johansson in a headlock from somebody. And he goes over there and decides, I'm going to try to get this guy off my defenseman right here. And then Dom Shine comes flying in out of nowhere as well to bail him out. But it's like stuff like that. It was great. I loved seeing that from him. Love seeing him stick up for his teammates. And on one of the penalty kills where he had 2 huge back-to-back saves, and then the puck comes back out in front of him and he blockers it up into the netting. Simon Edvinsson comes up to him after those couple of saves and just pounds him in the chest a couple of times. And he's like, yeah, like you could just see the excitement and how hyped they were getting with how well Kosa was playing. Like he was getting the guys pumped with his performance out there. So that's always good to see when your goalie's doing that.
And that's what you want. You like, this was a game. I don't feel like Milwaukee really outplayed us in this game at all. And I didn't really feel like the shots were that against. I mean, that penalty kill was just absolutely amazing. And like you said, Shine was just being a dog out there like he always is. Like, and I like him on the penalty kill too, because him and LaRue were like just chirping all game. Like I hope tomorrow, this will come out tonight. I hope tomorrow, like they come out and they just let it out. I hope they fight. I hope there's gloves dropped. I hope they just let them go at it for at least this last time of the season. But I think it's important because if you put Shine out there and he's chirping and he's getting them going, like that creates an opportunity to go to even it up. So,
yeah, you can tell this team is sick of Zach LaRue, and if they get to the point where they're ahead enough tomorrow, they will probably take care of business. I'm assuming, but I don't want any business taken care of until we have a comfortable lead. But at the same time, anytime you're taking LaRue off the ice, it's a positive as well because he is a talented player.
Yeah,
but Dom Shine is definitely sick of that kid, and so is Jonathan Berggren. There was early in the game, Berggren takes a hit from behind in LaRue that should have been called. It was a boarding. It wasn't. As Bergie gets back up, though, he just wailed on LaRue with a nice cross check, and I was like, oh, he got away with one there for sure. Okay, that's good. LaRue got away with one. Bergie gets away with one, and as they skate away from the play, Bergie again shoves him. And as the stick's coming around, his stick catches him in the back of the head. You can see it. And I'm like, oh, God, he just got away with another one there. It wasn't called whatever. They moved on. There was a lot of that in the game where they did let him play. But then it got to the point where it got out of hand. It was getting a little too crazy around there. And there's a moment in the second period that will probably live in my memory forever. Like you said, I was fortunate enough to be down by the glass last night. And Simon Edvinsson just obliterates a dude right in front of me. And I was like, oh my God. And you just see Simon look down at him. And if you're a good lip reader, you just see F you. I'm like, oh, that was beautiful. And then he did it to somebody else again later on in the scrum too, as he took him down in the corner. And then unfortunately, somehow Simon took a penalty out of that. Nobody else did. But
I didn't understand that one. But yeah, like he played so aggressive. This like Waddy said that he wanted a more physical lineup. He went with the size the last game. And I don't think, like, obviously it didn't work out for us. We lost in overtime. It's a bounce of the puck. That sucks. But I felt like we were slower. I didn't feel like we were really going. We weren't at full speed. And last night, they came out full speed. You saw Simon running at people. You saw Elmer running at people. And Amadeus going through people. Like, it was absolutely insane. I'm like, I wish I watched this team the whole year. Like, I wish this is the team that came out to play, that showed up. But they did last night, and like they went with that smaller. They went with their normal lineup, which was also freaking helpful.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Waddy going with the size lineup on Wednesday, and the offense did not come from that lineup at all. There was barely any shots. Like, it was just a struggle. And then this lineup is put back out there. It's back to normal with the addition of Wyatt Newpower slotting into this one and Josiah Didier out of this one. And obviously Simon being back in the lineup too does help when he wasn't in the lineup for the last two games. But this was a more aggressive team. This was a much more aggressive, faster, just pissed off team that went out there, and they left it all out there for sure. And God, this was a game. If Elmer Soderblom played every single game the way he played this game last night, he's in the NHL. Like, that's the thing. He was a one-man wrecking crew out there. There's one hit where him and Casper come together and sandwich a guy, which was just the funniest thing because Casper is nowhere near as big as Elmer. And then right after that, Elmer's like, I'm not done. Goes and throws another hit. Goes and throws a massive hit behind the net. Then goes and throws one more just for fun. It was all one shift. He had 5 hits in one shift.
I looked at Marie and I was like, I think we have more hits than we have shots on net. And we have quite a few shots on net at this point too. So it wasn't even like we were that like low shooting in the game. Like it was just, I wish they kept stats of the hits at this point because it was just off the charts. Like every time you looked up, there was a hit. And then it led to like a scrum and like extra antics after the whistle. But like, this is the style, the speed, the passing was better than last night too. And the physicality was there. Like that's what I think Waddy wanted, but didn't get out of that lineup the other night.
Yeah. And I think, if Elmer has another shift like that, where he's throwing them like that, we're going to start at Toledo, count him up just for his hits, every single time. Good Lord.
You can do that for your beers, but we can do it for Elmer's hits.
That's fair. I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, overall, man, there's so many guys that you could highlight in this lineup last night, but we've got to talk about the guy who basically became showtime for this game, Jonathan Berggren. Just every single goal was such a well-placed shot, except for the second one was just a beautifully placed pass from Carter Mazur with a wide open Berggren right on the end of the crease there. But goals 1 and 3 were both from the left side of the slot near the top of the circle where he just walked in, kind of saw that he had space and took the shot. And then the last goal, that Hattie goal, he does a great job keeping the puck in at the blue line. And for some reason, Milwaukee's defense just collapsed backwards towards the goal and left him with a good 10, 12 feet to walk in and shoot. Like, I don't know if someone missed an assignment, what they thought he was going to do, if they thought he was going to go for a pass, because there's a pass first team sometimes it feels like. And he just looks at that and he just shot it. And what a beautiful shot it was. It hit the back of the net and came out so fast. I thought it didn't go in at first. But he obviously knew it went in. And then every celly he had last night, too, was just the stone cold faced Berggren just staring down nothing, just staring down the wall. Not the goalie, just the wall. You don't skate into the slot and stare down the goalie. That's how you get an unsportsmanlike.
Right.
But it was just ice in his veins, Bergie, last night.
Yeah, he was just ice cold, like just no emotion on it. He was just like on autopilot, just give me puck, let me shoot, close my eyes, boom, into the back of the net. Like it was nuts. And I was just like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. That to score 4 in for like 4 minutes, like I literally in the second period, I'm like, we're done. Like this team, we're outplaying them. We're out. I thought we were out shooting them at that point too, but it looks like they were pretty close. But I'm just like, we just can't figure this goalie out. Like, we just cannot get into the zone and get a goal. Like, we couldn't even buy one at the moment. And I'm like, you know what? I think what's going to happen is we'll probably score another goal. It'll be 2-1. We'll pull our goalie and we're going to lose 3-1. I think I texted you that. Hopefully it didn't.
I don't think you did, because I would have just told you. I would have yelled at you.
You probably would have put it on Twitter and screenshot it.
I 100% would have. I did it to somebody else in Milwaukee.
So I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, I haven't seen the team come back like that against a good team like Milwaukee. Like we may have seen it against Manitoba or somebody. What is it
This
me?
team did this all season long.
I just think it's different in the playoffs. So like Milwaukee
Well,
is just a
obviously.
different I don't think I don't remember a time that I've seen a team come back from 2-0 and score 4 in 4 minutes to win the
Well,
game.
no, the time frame they did it, but the comeback like this isn't new. This is just the resiliency of this team. This is nothing. This is like everyone around us saying like, "Oh, they were cooked, we're done." And no, like you can't give up on this team. Apparently, even with only 4 minutes left in a period, you can't give up on this team. It doesn't matter. Like the resiliency of this group is insane. Like that's the stuff that makes champions. Whether it's this year or next, who knows? But you're shaking your head no, and I'm going to reach the monitor and smack you.
I think Coachella just
I don't care about Coachella. I think we'll beat Coachella. But anyways, that's for another episode.
Yeah, that's next week's episode.
But again, the resiliency, man. Like Dan Watson's has built this great leadership core, and the guys even said it too. The crowd helped him a ton. When the crowd got back into it as much as they did after those 2 5-on-3 kills, that place was rocking. And all it took was one goal to really blow the roof off, and it did. The crowd just was in it for the rest of the game. Like the video we posted at the end of the game that I took from at ice level there, you just look at the crowd, everyone's on their feet, every towel is waving. Like I haven't seen the arena look like that in so long. It was almost made me cry a little. Like it was a beautiful thing.
It was nuts.
Yeah, the crowd showed up. The boys all said in their interviews today that they felt that it helped them, it got them going, and the way they delivered on this comeback, man, it's storybook. Like you can't write it up better than that.
I feel like the first period, them just coming out and being physical. And mind, like I missed, I think the first 4 minutes of the first period, but like they just right, them just coming out. Like when I was watching it, it's just like them being physical, hitting everybody that was moving. Like it was just crazy. And the crowd got in it. It got behind them, and they were just loud. And like the towels were waving. Everybody, it was the loudest I've ever seen it in Van Andel this season. And then the second period, like the 5-on-3s, those penalty kills, that also like the crowd just in it and crazy. And then the third period, when they come out, like the first 10 minutes, it was just flat. Like the crowd it was quiet. I was like, what is going on? I'm like, have we changed styles of play? Like, I guess there probably wasn't as many hits or anything, but it just was weird. And then as soon as Bergie scored, it was just like light switch, boom. And like, it didn't stop until the end of the game once he scored his first. And it got a little too wild because we got warned by Zane.
So yeah, what the heck? Like it's a hat trick. Why the refs really got upset that the hats kept flying? There was other stuff flying too. I'll give them that. But at the same time, like
octopus,
bro. Did the refs not watch what just happened? Do you not think the crowd's going to throw as many hats as they did? Like, yeah, I know it takes a delay, but that's no longer a delay than Askarov going down hurt, going to the bench, coming back into play like he wasn't hurt, even though he still clearly was. That's a discussion I'm sure the Nashville brass is having with some people there. That was a bold move to let him go back in, even though I'm sure he was like, I'm good. That's a bold move. But like the crowd was in it. Like, who cares if it's delayed a little? We're on home ice. Right. We just had 4 goals in 4 minutes and a hat trick. Like, yeah, you're going to have some stuff end up on the ice, hats among other things, unfortunately. But, like, don't threaten a penalty to the crowd again. Like, that's already happened in Grand Rapids once this year.
Like, it's a playoff game. You just scored 4 goals in 4 minutes, and one guy got a hat trick. And our star player, like, let the crowd... Like, I didn't see the other stuff being thrown on the ice. I just saw hats. And then I was like, when I messaged in the group chat, I'm like, why are they warning us on hats? Like, let it happen. Like, I don't understand. I've never seen any, like, we probably don't hear it on TV, but I've never heard any other crowd of like, stop throwing stuff on the ice when they're hats. Like, that didn't make any sense to me. And then then they warned us, and then people started throwing extra stuff on the ice. And I'm like, oh, geez, all right, here we go. Like, I get that. But I don't know. And that frustrated me is like, give it 2-3 minutes, let them throw the hats on the ice, let it get it out. Like, that's tradition. That's classic. Like, I don't know if they were just mad because the octopuses were being thrown too. Like, there was 2 of those last night. So maybe that incorporated into them like calling it pretty quick. I don't know, but that was frustrating. Askarov did not look good after that stretch to try to save, and he is typically a flashy goalie. Like he makes some crazy plays that kind of head scratching. I'm like, why did you come out that far, or why did you do that? And as soon as that happened, he stopped. He stood.
He wouldn't move.
He wouldn't move. He stayed in net. He was like nervous to make another save. And Bergie took advantage of that on the last one. And that's when they pulled him for Troy. And I'm not happy about it because it's like the crowd was booing Askarov. I'm like, come on, guys.
So hang on there. I will say, yes, the crowd booing the injured goalie at first. I was like, what are we doing here? Then they cheered the injury as well when he looked like he was coming out. And I was like, that's a bad look. But then he came back in and was playing. I was like, oh, wait, was that a delay to slow down things? We had massive momentum at that point. Was this a ploy to delay things? And clearly he's injured. But from the fan perspective at that point, it looks like you're just slowing things down when we have the most momentum and putting him back in. And then also a slowdown again after the fourth goal to take him back out. I don't know.
A total football move there.
It that's what it felt like from the crowd perspective. So I get it. I don't think it was any ill intention. And at that point too, when he went down injured, it was a massively good play by the Griffins that almost resulted in another goal there. So I could see why the crowd was so amped at that moment in time. So I don't think it's that bad of a look, but at the same time, if he would have been down, stayed down, and then had to come out, we were doing that. Yeah, don't do that. That's a bad look.
Crowd was too crazy. And I looked at Marine, I'm like, it's not good that Troy's coming in. Like Troy's really a better goalie than Askarov, I think. Like he's got
in the playoffs so far, but the last two games for Askarov until he was hurt, he was lights out. I don't know, something awoke in him when he played Grand Rapids.
Who do you think they play tomorrow?
It's going to be Grosnick. That's a groin injury if I've ever seen one. With how many split saves he was making last night, overextending himself there, and that's exactly what happened on the play that he made that big stop that resulted in the injury. That's a groin injury all day.
You think
we won't know until the playoffs are over, but that's what it is.
Well, we'll know on Monday.
We'll know. Yeah, hopefully.
Do you think
hopefully we do
a huge swing in the game tomorrow?
So going back to Milwaukee, it's a Sunday. The crowd's going to be good. Let's be real. It's going to be a tough environment to go play in, but I think the momentum from what the boys just did is really going to carry over. I think the only thing I'd want to see differently in the lineup when you come into that situation is I don't want to see Hirose in the lineup. He got cooked left and right in this game last night. He's just struggled this round against Milwaukee. I don't know if it's their size and speed that he's struggling with, but I don't think you leave him in at that point.
Who do you put in?
I think Dan Watson made the right decision pulling Danielson out as well.
Oh yeah.
I think Red Wings fans might disagree, but I mean, this really solidifies that Danielson's going to take a little bit more time. He's going to be in Grand Rapids next season, and that's the right call to make. Who do you put in at that point? I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head right now. No, maybe I do want to see Cross in the playoffs, but I don't think I want to see it in that situation. Again, if you're not changing anything, I'm still going to be happy with. I just didn't like Hirose's performance in this game. I think he's the one guy I'd call out and say it was a bad game. Everybody on the team had a fantastic game last night, but even people around me were saying left and right last night that he was just getting cooked. Bad passes, bad giveaways, just everything he tried to do, Milwaukee was reading him like a book. So I don't know.
Maybe put Hunter Johansson.
Yeah, I could see that move being a smart move. But you got to go 11-7 again. You got to keep the same rotation you've got here. And you can never take Amadeus Lombardi out of the lineup again because he was flying. There was so many plays last night where he was a difference maker on the forecheck and defensively. He disrupted Milwaukee left and right last night.
At one point I looked over and he was going through people, just deking them out of their skates. And I was like, is that Jonathan Berggren? And he gets closer and I'm like, oh no, that's Ammo. Oh boy, this guy is skating so fast. He's just going through it. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I thought he was going to get a goal last night. I was hoping he was going to get a goal last night.
If that puck wouldn't have rolled off his stick as he got close to Askarov there, he would have had the goal. He would have had the second goal or the first goal of the game, I think, at that point in time. And then again, loses it off his stick, turns around, poke checks it off a Milwaukee player's stick on the forecheck there to keep it in the zone, turns around to a wide open Dom Shine who gets absolutely hooked and hauled down by LaRue. Like, LaRue did save a goal there. That's a goal all day, or it's a missed shot by Shine wide left. But
Whoa.
we've seen those breakaways before, but it's okay. It's Amo was a difference maker last night. Everybody was a difference maker last night in this game. On the physicality side, like we said, Elmer, Casper, Aston Reese, Lesperance, both throwing the body as well. Tuamisto out there. I mean, hell, there was in the third period, a roughing penalty between LaRue and Tuamisto. They went at it together. Like, that's the stuff you want to see up and down the lineup. The depth of this team truly showed last night. And when they needed to perform big, they did. And they sent us all home. Like, if for some reason tomorrow doesn't go our way, and that's the last Griffins game we saw in person this year, holy hell, what a way to send off an incredible season.
That was the best game I've seen all year, I feel. Like, I would have to go back through, but I think that, like, recency bias, right? But I think, like, I'd have to go back through the lineup and the schedule, and I'm like, I think that was probably my favorite game, like, of all season and last season. I know yours is probably still that crazy comeback, but from last year.
Yeah.
But
the one against the Wolves, yeah.
Against the Wolves. I do want to highlight, though, the defense on this, too, is like I saw a different kind of play style last night, and you saw a lot more towards like down low and on the bumper. Like they were cycling, the forwards were cycling right there, and it gave our defense an opportunity. Like everybody kind of sucked in towards the net, and our defense was more open. And you see Tuamisto getting assists last night. You saw Schmidt get an assist last night. Like when we're getting our defense involved, it's opening up opportunities. It's getting scoring. It's getting assists or rebounds or those dirty goals. Like we need, like, I love that style of play. And it frustrates the hell out of me when we don't play like that. Because even both power play goals got created down low on the cycle. We're using the bumper. Like, I don't know what it is, but it also opens up like crazy weird angles for like weird shots to go into, which we had a few of those opportunities too. So big call out for the defense on getting some points last night. Because usually you see Carter, Austin, and Casper all goal and assist, like, or left and Lesby got the assist. But you see more of the forwards and the wingers scoring and getting those points, and not too much on the defensive side. So
yeah, I think that play style you're looking for each game that you love to see, the quick passing, the hits, all that stuff, that comes when their team is confident. When they are feeling themselves, that's the game we see every single time.
That's what I'm saying.
When they come out, throw some big hits like they did, and Coast makes the big saves like he did, they could ride that swagger, and that's exactly what they did. I think that's what you're going to see a lot of tomorrow night in Milwaukee as well. There's going to be Milwaukee's going to come out pissed that they lost that game. They lost their goalie. They lost the game. They're going to come out pissed. But again, we saw in game one in Milwaukee when Milwaukee tried to come out pissed and the Griffins set the tone on their own end, what happens. And I think if I'm a betting man, LaRue puts these guys in a tough position again in Milwaukee. He puts his own team in a bad spot. And I think that might be the storyline of the series.
I hope so, because I hate that guy too. He is becoming public enemy number one. And if he's here again next year, like we're gonna have to find something. Some sort of sign.
We say we hate him, but at the same time, he's doing exactly what he's paid to do out there for that team, and he's damn good at it. That's the part that sucks.
I just want him tossed. I don't even want to play against him. He's just so chirpy and such a baby, and like it. Part of me does want to go to the game tomorrow and just be like, "Where to him?" Because he did that to us when they beat us Wednesday. So it'd be cool to be able to finish it out on their ice, which we did it with Rockford. So maybe there's a trend here of finishing out on the home team's ice. That could be fun.
That could be fun.
You want to do a prediction for tomorrow? You're saying they're winning?
Oh yeah, they're winning. They're winning this game. They are going into Milwaukee and breaking the hearts of everybody in Wisconsin the day before Memorial Day, and they're gonna have a rough Memorial Day because they're all gonna be hungover from drinking and crying about their team losing.
Do you think it ends in regulation?
That I don't know the answer to. I I hope it does. I don't want to see it in that situation where we're in overtime, but if we end up going to overtime, I'm very confident in our team being in overtime. We know that they know how to do it, and I'm very confident in one individual sending this team into the next round. That'd be a Berkey OT winner. If I'm a betting man, I'm putting all my money on that because we've seen it how many times in these playoffs? It's ridiculous.
It's been almost every game.
Yeah. I mean, Bergey's going to be a fun topic of conversation in the offseason because basically right now there's no reason he's not in Detroit. But anyways, yeah, my prediction is a good win. I think UC Coast have another incredible game like tonight. I don't think you could shake that man's confidence right now. Even an early goal tomorrow against wouldn't shake the confidence of that kid. He's just so calm, cool, collected. And he's going to go into Milwaukee and he's going to give the boys a chance to win. The boys got to deliver, though.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
I don't know if I want to share that. Can I give you two and then you edit out the right one?
No.
Edit the right one in?
No.
I mean, this was the Central Division champions, right? We played them close all season, and I think we both said it was going to go the full game fives, right? I'm pretty sure that was our prediction. If not,
I don't remember.
If they play like they did last night, I could see it. You know, I think the biggest thing is that they have to score first because the crowd is going to be against them. If they can quiet the crowd, I think that's what's going to help the momentum. It's good to see, like we briefly talked about special teams on this episode, which is good because it's not a big glaring need, but they scored 2 out of 6. I don't think they're going to get the calls. Like, I think they're going to kind of let them, I don't know. It's so tough for me to say on this. I hate this one. I could see him winning. I could see him losing. It just depends on which team shows up. If a Dan Watson team shows up tomorrow, we're winning. If a Ben Simon team shows up, we're losing. Like, and it'll be a close game though. Like, if a Ben Simon team shows up, I could see us losing in overtime. Now, if Waddy's team shows up, I could see us winning 4-2, 4-1. I could see that. They just need to put together a full 60 minutes. They got to go out and win each shift. Like, just focus on winning the shift. I would say that's the most important thing. I'm split on if they win it or not. Like, part of me is prepping for the off season, to be honest with you. I
hope the boys don't listen to you before the game. Jesus
I hope they
Christ.
do. Give them some fire. Let's keep this going. Like, trust me, I want to watch them play against Coachella. I want to see how they match up, how they play, because we didn't play Coachella this season, and we didn't. I think the only team we played out of that division was Colorado. Mm-hmm. That was it, and that matchup was weird. Like, we won both games here.
And it was the first 4 games of the season. I don't really. I can't read into that at all.
That was a crazy, like, 4 games, though. Like, we didn't really know what we had. We weren't really gelled, and it was, like, 41 shots against us both games. Like, I remember that. So, I don't know. I hope they move on. I'd love to keep going. I don't know how we can get to Coachella if Milwaukee is pretty expensive to go to.
Yeah, right.
But there is a caravan tomorrow. They're leaving Wayland at, like, 10:30. If you guys need more information, reach out to us. I can hook you up. I guess a bunch of people are still going to Milwaukee to watch the game. So I'm indifferent. I might go to Pepino's and watch it. I know you're talking about staying at home and watching.
I think with how negative you were about the game tomorrow, you should stay far away from either of those.
I mean, I was kind of negative last night too. I was like,
that's true.
I went off on the people behind me just because I thought that was going to be our last game of the season.
Oh, that's awkward for next time.
I don't care. We'll get moved. It's fine.
No, the boys are winning this game. There's no way they don't. Seems special. And you don't do what you did last night without giving yourself a good chance to walk into the other team's barn and steal the game and walk into the next round. So I'm confident, extremely confident. I still can't physically process what we witnessed last night. Like, I know there's so much that happened that we didn't get to talk about even here, but we are going to wrap this episode up. I don't think there's anything else either of us have to add right now that wouldn't extend this another hour. And I want to go eat dinner. So we're going to wrap this up here if that's cool with you.
What are you having?
Food.
Okay. You haven't decided yet. That's what that meant.
Exactly. But with that, thank you everyone for tuning in to this Game 4 recap of the Central Division Finals. Again, Game is tomorrow. Puck drop is 5 o'clock in Milwaukee, so 6 o'clock our time. If you need a place to watch it, like we said, Pepino's Watch Party downtown, or get in your car, make the 4-hour drive, go support the boys in person. I know we keep debating. I don't think we'll end up doing it, though. But with that, thank you everyone for tuning in. Shout out to our sponsor, Everything Hockey. Make sure you head over to everythinghockey.com. Use code WEST. Save $3 off your order. Shout out to everyone for seeing us at the game, saying hi and hello. We loved that. It was such a fun time for us. And hopefully we see you all again next round here in Grand Rapids. Everybody have a happy and safe Memorial Day. Remember what the true meaning of Memorial Day is while you're out there enjoying your beers and hot dogs and everything else. Always step back and have that reminder to yourself. It is a day to remember those who have given all for us to be able to go out and enjoy these games like this and go out and enjoy the life that we live. So thank you to all of them and their families. And thank you all for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Go Griffs, go Walleye. We'll talk to y'all Monday.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Hockeytown West Podcast. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at HockeytownWPod and your host, Nick at GR Hockey Guy and Brandon at Brandon GR Hockey.